do you still, yeah, so actually I wanted to get into the concrete ideologies of yeah, so one big thing that I see so problematic, like many of the things that I hear on the black pill side, and that's what I meant by you being like having a certain amount of black pilledness, is this hyper focus on looks, like also the way you talk about like fixing your problem, and it might as well be like that like I don't want to take, that's not at
Mm-hmm.
all, I'm not even contesting it, but I feel like there is a hyper focus on looks, which is in and of itself, in my generation, as a man, being so hyper focused on looks was like the most unmanliest thing you could do, basically, like, right?
Mm.
And now you have
Okay.
this new generation of like young men who basically define masculinity by looks, or define their identity a lot about looks.
Yeah.
Where would you see yourself in that spectrum, and what do you think about it?
Well, um, well, it's one thing I would say. I would describe it this way. I think there is a very uh, there's a course correction, maybe overcorrection, right? Like I think prior to nowadays with the incel whatever shit, um, people were really delusional with how men can succeed. I don't think a ton of men like. And it just like reality coming crashing down kind of thing. Like there was a narrative of looks don't matter, like, or at least there was a push for that kind of attitude. And it's like a reality check. No, it does matter, and like that it might be a course correction the other way. I think like for me, I don't. I think it's a ton of it will have to do with chemistry actually, but like um, get it, getting your foot in the door is definitely related to looks, and it's not like for you to have a chance, you need to have a certain at least like passable look. I think that's what I would consider. Like there would be, I wouldn't say I define myself by looks, right? I don't care about being like a 9, 10, whatever. Kind of, I don't have that kind of striving towards perfection attitude. I do think, however, there's like a threshold of like minimum expectation, right? Like I think that that threshold, like I would rather be above that threshold, and then I don't think I care about like, for instance, with who I would date. I don't think I care as much for the looks as I do, as most other people might. Because I don't know, there's things that attract me that are not that. I don't
That
know.
are not what?
Looks, you know,
Ah,
like
okay.
um,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like so, in that regard, I don't think I would be super into it, but I do think like it's like I think it was like an reality that was ignored, and that came to came back as like a like you can't
So
like really ignore the reality.
so you would say that it's a reality that was ignored. You wouldn't say that there has been any change or shift in the woman's
Oh,
perspective?
well, there might be. So I think there is with dating apps, right? I think that's like the main when it's easy, the access is easier, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you will have much more attention easily available to you, like be it social media, whatever. That
Mm-hmm.
might change your uh, focus, like shift your attention, whatever that kind of thing. But I don't think, like, definitely, I don't. So if there was a course correction, it might have been overcorrected. Like I said, I think it might be over emphasized nowadays, like
Mm-hmm.
how much looks might matter.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely like let me put it this way. I don't think you will have a successful relationship that can last long or fulfilling on the basis of looks alone. I don't think you can
Mm-hmm.
possibly do that. So in that regard, it's not going to be. But I think a lot of people over focus on it in that regard. I think in a relationship, um, you probably will care about it at some like to some extent internally, even if you don't like think about it. You will care about the looks some to some extent, but
Of
you don't have
yourself
to
or
think
the other
about it.
one?
The other one,
The
I'm
other one. Mm-hmm.
talking. like your partner, you'll care about their looks, I think, but like it's going to be mostly like an internal thing and I don't think you need to think more on it, especially for your partner. Okay, I need to have this like checklist or whatever. I don't think you should have that kind of attitude. Like just explore. If you don't feel attracted, you don't attract it. Yeah, like that's fine. But like if I think there is going to be there seems to be some overcorrection. I do think so. Maybe I don't know. It's possible at least. Yeah.
I mean, for
So
me, yeah,
hmm,
I'm
go
pretty
ahead, go ahead.
sure. I'm pretty sure that for you, for example, I'm 99% sure that for you losing weight would not be the only way you could get laid. I mean, like not even like in the sense of one time, but I mean like in a general way of you having a good amount of interest coming your way. I mean, there is like just as an example, like playing in a band at some bar, in, you know what I mean, like just that, even if you're like severely obese or whatever, like I don't know how what your looks are, but like it doesn't matter. I feel like you could, of course there is, it's going to boost your looks are always going to boost everything. It's going to amplify it, but it's not going to change your whole life. I don't think so. Like, especially since as a man you also have to be a minimum amount of generally a minimum amount of offensive, like in a sense of um asking somebody out or initiating sex or first kiss and stuff like that. So uh yeah, so the problem is that we are now right now living in a society that has brought dating and meeting people in a world where there is only looks, like, which is like the digital world. So you have like a lot of dating going on and on Instagram, or like people meeting each other on Instagram or even Tinder, and that world is like completely based on looks and pictures. So but I don't think that has changed the way people find their, or the way women find men attractive at all. I think I for myself have basically said to myself, like, I wouldn't want to date over Tinder. That, like, I don't think that over Tinder someone is going to see me for the way I think. I will always have a better chance in person, in real life, because that's just my
Definitely.
experience. Yeah. But there
I,
might be
I
other
would
people,
expect that too.
and there might be other people that have better chances when they just show their looks, and then when they start talking there's some problem, you know. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think the hyper focus on looks is pretty toxic and wrong, but you are right when you're saying, and that's also one problem I have with the social commentary about black pill or incels. You have some people who are so severe, like they have so severe looks problems that it makes it really, really, really hard for them. Or they have so severe mental health problems, or yeah, mental problems, that make it like really, really, really severe for them, like really almost impossible. What
Mm.
do you think? Do you think society acknowledges that enough? Or do you think this is just like we're just telling everybody to go to the gym and get checked?
Um. Well, I don't know. I don't have a pulse on it, I guess. Mm, I think you're right to some extent, but mm, it seems like at least that is something that's plaguing a ton of people's problem. Like that seems to be a ton of people's problems too. I'm guessing there's a lot of people who have been raised on the internet in the past like like generation, I would say, and those people might have like what was the word, sedentary, whatever, like stable, like not moving, not like very stationary
Stationary.
lifestyles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And to them that seems to be the best advice. And like, I don't know, what do you think is the best advice in that? Like, if that it seems like gym is the best advice. That's how I consider it, right?
Gym is a
But what else?
pretty good advice. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I think that's the best advice we have, at least. What else is a good advice? I guess like learning how to, like, maybe clothes, like fashion is a important one that we ignore. That might be a thing. Like, I think how you wear clothes, that might matter. Um, I expect it to, at least, but I don't know.
I mean, gym is a really
But
good one because it applies to everybody, right? And fashion is a really
mhm,
good one as well because it applies to everybody. So you can always improve something by going to the gym and maybe buying yourself something nice, you know.
mhm,
But I think
yeah.
the I mean, let's talk about the cases. Like, I think there's like three cases, like, or maybe let's say two cases. So there's one part of the people that we're talking about that is like, where I would say, do X, Y, Z for a long enough time and you'll be fine. You'll totally be fine. Like, don't worry about it at all. And there's other people where I know, like, no matter how much they're going to do in their life, and that's like a very, very small percentage. Like, I'm really talking like a very, very small percentage of people where I know that no matter how hard they try, um, either they're not gonna get what they want, or they're gonna be in a situation where they're gonna be taken advantage of. And like the way you described it, I think earlier with the where just one person just uses them for control, basically.
Mhm.
And I think we should just acknowledge that exists. And I think it must be horrible, like yeah, I don't know, like, and also not only that, like, there's also varying degrees of how much you have to do, right? Like, for you it might just be like going to the gym for 2 years, but for somebody else it might be getting a steady income, fixing your psychological issues, fixing your problems with trusting people. Like, lots of mental health shit is going into that. I think that's being ignored on all sides. Like, right, like both the black pill side, the incels are ignoring that part, and also the people that are criticizing incels are like completely ignoring that a lot of it is like unresolved issues that people have and that make other people freak out about them. And
Mhm.
then so first of all, we should acknowledge that there is cases where we just have to find some other solutions to make these people happy, right? And stop like giving them like these general advices. So just just to not make somebody suffer their whole life, you know. So, and then that's a very, very small amount. But then there is the thing, you might go just have to go to the gym for 2 years, but somebody else has to do like so much work on themselves and go through basically through hell. Even you maybe going to the gym for 2 years can also be going through hell and exercising and dieting. So then also the acknowledgement needs to be there that you just have to say, yeah, I know it's unfair. It's not fair that you have to, like, other people just get it gifted basically to them, and you have to struggle so hard just to,
Oh, definitely. Like, that's a recognition, like,
yeah,
that needs to be made. Yeah, like, I
yeah,
mean, it is, um like, broadly, life's not fair, and that's not by society. It's just by nature, like, not fair.
exactly.
Like, if I'm born, like, let's say in like pre-societies, like, or like very, 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 very primitive societies, right? If I'm born next to a river versus a tribe that's been, like, I guess, a hunter gatherer, right? Like, if I'm born into a river settlement, I'm already, just by borning into a river settlement, like, I have a higher chance of survival. Like, just on a basis, like, it's just a birth lottery in that regard. Like, so if I am if I'm born in Middle East as
Yeah,
opposed to I don't know, a first world country,
yeah,
that's going to impact a ton of things. Like it
of
seems
course.
like a ton of it is unfair, and
Yeah.
it's not society's fault that it is unfair. It's just how it is.
I mean, no, but
Um,
yeah, but I feel like the big frustration that the black pill, for example, has, or many in these communities have, and also a lot of the hatred, is that we as a society are not even acknowledging that unfairness. Like, we're basically saying that it's a non-issue, that they should stop complaining, and that they're not entitled. Like, one thing I hear a lot, which really annoys me, is like this idea of you're not entitled to sex. And I'm like, what does that mean? Like, yeah, of course we shouldn't, like, um the taxpayer shouldn't have to pay for you going to a prostitute. Yeah, true. And also, we cannot force anyone to love you or to want to be your girlfriend. But I think that sexuality is a really big part of the human, like, of the human condition and of the human existence. And just like saying that it's no issue is, I think, not 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 empathetic, and not, yeah, it's cruel, I think, to say that. Would you agree?
I don't know. I actually agree with the notion that you're not entitled to sex. I think, um, I think that's like think on it this way, right? There is always going to be somebody, that will not be able to get laid in their life, and like that's just by sheer big numbers. Like how, like just how, however many people there are, it's just going to be
Yeah,
the
true,
case.
true.
Some people are born with terminal illnesses.
Yeah.
Some people are born with incurable, like lifelong diseases, right?
Yes.
And you're born with ugliness. Like
Yes.
tough luck, but like
Yeah, but
it also isn't the case.
it,
Like
I'm
someone owes you something
no
because of that.
yeah, exactly. No, I don't think that that's fine. Like, nobody owes you. I don't even know who would owe you. But
Yeah.
there is that's a big leap from saying nobody owes you to it's not sad, or I cannot show
Oh, it
empathy
is
for
sad.
it.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah.
if
Okay.
you so if you have a 14-year-old who is going to die a virgin because he's not able he's too young or something, and he's like, I never had sex, like, I never experienced that's sad, like, right? Like, that's really sad that he was not able to have that experience, right?
Okay.
So, and
Well,
we, yeah,
it is sad, but like let's consider it this way. Let's say I am a very furious incel, right? It could also be the case that I consider whenever you say, "Oh yeah, it's sad and there's nothing we can do about it," like I'm like, oh, take your fake pity and go away. Like that seems like another thing that would upset me, right? Would it not be the case? Maybe it could be. Like
yeah, but
I
that would
don't
be
think that's
that would be your problem, right? Like, that would not be my problem. Like I can't. I'm just not. I guess I'm furious at the way that the reaction to it. I'm furious
Mhm.
about that. Like, someone is like complaining, or someone is obviously not feeling good about themselves and about the way they're being perceived, and we're like, so what, man? Not a big deal. And I'm like, man, sex is kind of a big deal, Like, when you look at it psychologically, it is kind of a big deal. Like, and it's also like in the same category as food, and sleep and stuff, like it's a very basic thing, like, that is starting on also pretty early. I mean, just saying it's not a big deal feels really dishonest.